Level 1. $50. Rent cleared Monday and left you $50 to reach Friday of next week. 11 days. You did the division in the parking lot and got $4.54 a day, and the number has not left your head since. You don't have a car. It died in March and the repair was $600, and $600 is not a thing that exists. So now there is a bus. The bus is why the corner store wins. The real grocery store is 12 minutes away by car and 40 by bus with a transfer. The corner store is 400 feet from your door. Milk there is $5.40. At the real store, it's $3. You have known this for 8 months. You buy it at the corner store anyway, because the difference is $2.40, and the alternative is 90 minutes of your one day off. That's the first thing nobody tells you. Poor is not a price. Poor is a distance. And you pay the distance in dollars or you pay it in hours. And either way, it gets paid. Saturday, you make the trip. You take a basket instead of a cart, because a cart is optimism and a basket is a limit. In the detergent aisle, there are 2 bottles. The large one is $12. The small one is $5. The large one is cheaper per load, and you understand that completely. You buy the small one. You will buy the small one 4 more times this year, spend $20 to receive $12 of soap, and the $7 difference will be charged to you for the crime of not having $12 on one particular Saturday. The sale is buy 3, get 1 free. You cannot buy 3. It's printed in red and hung at eye level, and it is not for you. It's for the person standing exactly where you're standing with $100 instead of $50. At the register, it's $51.80. You have $50. You hand back the cheese, then the cereal. The cashier takes them with a face trained to be empty, and behind you a man shifts his weight and size, and it is the smallest sound in the world, and you will carry it for 13 years. The store doesn't charge you more at $50. The bus does. The timing does. The size of the bottle you can afford does. You're paying a premium that has no name and appears on no receipt, and every person around you pays less than you do for the same food. Level 2. $500. The card stops getting declined. That's the whole difference, and it is bigger than it sounds. At $50, you didn't just have less money. You had to know the exact hour your paycheck posted. You stood in a checkout line at 12:04 in the morning because direct deposit landed at midnight and the transaction needed to clear on the other side of it. You ran your entire life on a clock owned by somebody else's payroll system. At $500, you stop watching the clock. You buy groceries on a Tuesday afternoon because that's when you're free. Nobody tells you this is a form of wealth. It's one of the largest ones you'll ever receive. You buy the monthly bus pass, $70 up front instead of $250 a ride, and it pays for itself on day 16, and you could never buy it before because you never had $70 in one piece at the start of a month. You have been paying more per ride than every regular rider in the city for 2 years, specifically because you could not pay in advance. Everything is cheaper if you can pay in advance. That's the entire mechanism. Nobody advertises it, and nobody hides it. You shop once a week now, instead of 3 times. 11 hours a month come back to you. Those hours were always yours. They were being taken as a fee. Then someone from your shift asks to borrow $40 until Friday, and you say yes without thinking, and you spend the rest of the night quietly stunned by yourself. Nobody has ever asked you that before. People know who to ask. You have just been moved, without any announcement, from one category into the other, and the transfer cost $450. The store doesn't give you a discount at $500. It stops charging you for being unable to plan. Level 3. $2,000. You buy a car for $1,800. It's 14 years old, the passenger window doesn't go down, and the man selling it doesn't make eye contact. You drive it home waiting for a noise. It doesn't make the noise. Everything reorganizes around that car in about 9 days. The corner store stops existing. Milk is $3 now, permanently, because the real store is 12 minutes away, and 12 minutes is nothing when you own the 12 minutes. That's $140 a year. You stop paying for the same gallon. You didn't negotiate it. Nobody informed you. The only thing that changed is that you can get there. You buy in bulk, rice in the large bag, chicken in the family pack, split and frozen in a $40 freezer. You take the buy 3 sale. You buy the warehouse membership for $60, which saves you $400 a year, and which you could not have bought 2 years ago because it required having $60 you were willing to lose first. You still buy store brand for everything. Everything except one thing. There is always one thing. The coffee your mother bought, the red can, $3 more than the can beside it, taken off the shelf without pausing. Your mother calls. She asks if you're eating. You say yes, and it isn't a performance, and she hears the difference and doesn't comment on it. The store doesn't respect you at $2,000. It just stops taxing your emergencies. And the tax was never on the food. It was on not being able to reach it. Level 4. $15,000. The salary job starts in March. First time in your life a number arrives on the same date regardless of how many hours are inside it. Something goes quiet, and the quiet is the whole point. You stop checking prices under $10. Not as a decision. It just stops happening. An item enters the cart without passing through your head, and the first time time you catch it, you stand in the aisle genuinely unsettled, because that reflex kept you alive for 6 years, and it has apparently resigned without notice. You delete the coupon app. You cannot say what week. You buy things that expire. Fresh herbs, good bread, produce you intend to cook. Thursday, you open the drawer, and the basil has gone to black water. $40 in the garbage that week. At level 1, $40 was the week. It was the entire week. You get sick in February and order delivery for the first time. $9 fee plus markup plus tip. $22 to not stand up. You pay it without thinking, and on the way back to bed, you understand something. You didn't buy groceries. You bought an hour. That's the first hour you have ever purchased. It will not be the last. The store doesn't sell you food at $15,000. It starts selling you time, and time is the only thing on the shelf with no price printed on it. Level 5, $80,000. You change stores. Wider aisles, warm light, produce misted on a timer. $70 more a week for food that is not meaningfully better. You tell yourself it's about quality. It is not about quality. It is the first purchase you have ever made in order to be a certain kind of person, and you will keep making it every week for the rest of your life. This store has no coupon rack. It doesn't run buy 3 get 1. It doesn't need to, because nobody standing in it can be moved by $4. The pricing of a store tells you exactly who the store thinks you are, and this one thinks you're someone who doesn't check. It's right. You start sending your mother $600 a month. She fights it for 2 months, then stops, and neither of you ever mentions it again. You finance a newer car, and the rate comes back at 6.8. You remember 11%. Money got cheaper for you the moment you stopped needing it badly. That is the rule sitting under all of this. Everything costs less. At the exact point, it stops being urgent. Then you turn a corner, and there's a man you worked the shift with at 23. He's holding a basket, not a cart. His eyes go to your cart and back up, and it takes half a second. You feel caught. And then, quick and ugly and gone before you can look at it directly, you feel good. You think about that half second for a week, and you never tell anyone. The store doesn't feed you at $80,000. It sells you a version of yourself, weekly, at a markup you've agreed not to notice. Level 6, $10 million. You stop going in. There's an app. There's a saved list. Someone you've never met walks the aisles and messages you when the strawberries look bad, and you send a thumbs up while muted on a call. The bags appear on the step. $9 fee, 15% markup, neither of which you have ever calculated. At $50, you knew the price of everything you owned. Here you have outsourced the knowing, and the fee is invisible because it's smaller than your attention. The list never changes. You built it at 28, and it hasn't moved, so a stranger buys basil every week that you still don't cook, and it rots in a drawer you open twice a month. Then it isn't even a list. Someone keeps the kitchen stocked. You open your own refrigerator and find things you didn't choose and can't identify, arranged in rows by a person who works for you. Food arrives the way electricity arrives, continuously, invisibly, billed to an account you don't open. You buy your mother a house that year and fill the kitchen before she arrives. The best of everything. She walks in, opens the cabinets one at a time, closes them one at a time. Then she takes a receipt out of her purse from her own store. From that morning. Chicken thighs, rice, a can of coffee. She says she wanted to bring something. You say you already bought all of it. She says, I know. She clips coupons that evening at a table in a house you paid cash for, and you cannot make her stop. And eventually you understand you were never supposed to. On a Tuesday at 9 at night, you drive yourself to a grocery store, alone, for one thing you don't need. You take a basket, not a cart, and you can't say why. At the meat case, a man in a white coat comes out with the yellow stickers, and 2 people are already waiting, and none of you look at each other. You pick up a package. You turn it over and find the price with your thumb. Out of pure reflex, the way you check a pocket for keys you already know are there. $4.12. And nothing happens. No spike, no math, no heat at the back of your neck. It's a number on a label in a room. It costs you nothing, asks you nothing, and tells you nothing about your life. You stand there a long time. The store doesn't charge you anything at $10 million. That's the problem. Nothing in it can reach you now, and nothing in it can mean anything either. Somewhere right now, someone is standing at a register with a basket. The total is higher than what they have. They hand back a box, then a second thing. The line waits. Behind them, a man shifts his weight and size. They'll ride the bus home past a store they can't afford to reach, and tell themselves it's fine because it's only groceries. Nothing is broken. The system is working exactly the way it was built to. The same shelf that will one day mean nothing to them is charging them extra tonight for the crime of not having enough at once. You were the same person in every aisle. The store just kept adjusting the price of your life based on what was already in your account. A man with $50 can tell you the price of everything on that shelf. A man with $10 million cannot tell you what any of it is worth.